this object fear of the one that we're supposed to be connected to, because they've told us you gotta walk this tightrope and this line, and if you walk off the line, he's gonna send you to hell. You could live 30 years worshiping and living for him, make one error, and if you die in that error, you go into hell. What in the name of common sense does that mean? Are you crazy? Why would I even serve him if he's that sadistic and masochistic? I don't need a God like that. And so if I am so focused on staying on the line, I can't fulfill my assignment. But my God is big enough to handle my fault, my strokes, my mess ups, because he's already prepared for what I might do. He knows what I'm going to do before I do it, and he already made preparation for me before I get there.
What follows darkness is light. That darkness is the indicator that light is getting ready to shine. So there it is in Genesis, when darkness was upon the face of the deep, and God in the spirit form moved upon the face of the water, and then God said, let there be. Because darkness precedes the light. Are you understanding what I'm saying? But he needs the darkness there so that God can move upon the face of the deep, so that the shift can take place. Listen, look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor that shift take place in the darkness. Oh God, y'all didn't hear what I just said. Everybody's not going to see the shift that's happening. They see the chaos, but they don't see the shift. They see all the craziness going on in your life, but they don't understand that underneath the darkness, God is moving in secret. He's moving in quiet. He's moving in the hidden places. He's moving in the cracks and the corners and the crevices. He's moving in places that you cannot see. And when the light comes, they're going to see a new order. anything but untidy. And so the universe then has no choice. First attribute of the secret place. The secret place is a place of revelation. It makes you free because it awakens you and makes you consciously aware that everything that you thought was holding you is an illusion.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Emerge movement, where we are empowering you with all the tools that you need in order to be able to navigate your journey towards spiritual wholeness. I'm your host, Isaac J. Miles Sr., and I'm so glad that you decided to join me this morning in this empowerment session, part 3 of Uncomfortable Truths. This conversation has just really been, I think, intense and informative, inspiring. It's been a lot of fun as well, especially our last one on Thursday night. It was really intense. I've gotten so many responses from so many of you about that one. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it, and I'm glad that you were helped and that you were inspired by it and empowered. I'm glad it made you think. Even listen, and here's the thing, that this platform is about offering a different perspective on common themes that will help you to be able to navigate this life. It is not about your being in lockstep with me. It's not about conformity. You don't have to agree with my perspective. All I'm asking is that you take a moment and consider and think. Take a moment and consider, reconsider, rethink, be reminded, and remember, so that you can arrive to the conclusion that best serves you. I don't claim to have all answers. I don't claim to know everything while I do know everything. I'm not consciously aware of my knowing, but we all know everything. And so what I'm saying is that I'm offering you a different perspective that I think will be helpful, I think will be empowering and impactful in your life. But you're under no obligation to it. You don't have to agree with everything. Nobody agrees with everybody on everything. I don't agree with you on everything either. So we good. We good. All I'm asking is that you tune in for the conversation. Let's have a dialogue. Everybody remain respectful, and then we can all grow together. Amen. All right. As I always do at the top of the program, I'm asking you to please tag as many people as you possibly can. Do like Toya. Toya is the number one tagger on this broadcast and on this platform. I can always depend on her to make sure she tags a whole gang of folks. I tell you, if just half the people that she tagged would show up, the platform would blow up. I'm telling you right now. But take a moment and tag as many people as you can. If you're watching by way of YouTube, you can just copy the link and send it out in your group text, your family text, and other things of that sort. Invite them to come and be a part of the conversation as well. And please take a moment. If you're not going to tag anyone in the comments, at least share. That is, share this broadcast. If you are on one of the Facebook platforms, take a moment and hit the share button and share this on your page. So all of your looky-loos that are watching your page and may never comment, never like anything, but at least they'll get something that'll be helpful to them and inspiring. Put it on your page so that they can join into the conversation as well. Take a moment and do that for me real quickly while you're thinking about it. And we're getting ready to dive right into the conversation for today. I want to try and get through at least maybe 4 or 5 more today. And then I think we'll have 5 more. There are at least 10 more to go. So I'm going to try and get through 5 more today. And then maybe we'll do a part 2 on Thursday. And we'll get through the last 5 in this conversation, but I'm not going to rush it because I definitely won't have a complete and robust conversation with all of you that are here. Please don't be afraid to comment, offer your view, your perspective. on whatever topic it is that we're talking about, and don't shy away from asking questions. You know, my motto is ask questions, get answers, and then question the answers. That's the way to evolve, to grow, to expand, to awaken, and become even better, stronger, and more knowledgeable. So please don't shy away from asking questions, because the question you ask, I can guarantee you that other people who are having the same question and may not have the courage to ask it like you did. So please take the moment and ask questions. Okay. All right. So let's get started. Let's get into today by beginning with the beginning, and we're going to review in very brief fashion all of the uncomfortable truths that we have covered so far, and then we will pick up with the one that we're going to begin focusing on this morning. If you have missed any of the others, they are up on YouTube as well as on the website. So please just run over to the website, if you will. Let's get some traffic going there, and you are able to view any of the past broadcasts there, as well as all of our morning meditation for all of us who are involved in the 90 days of abundance. My goodness, that's just been going really well. Can you believe, ladies and gentlemen, that we are already at day 25 in now 90 days of abundance? Now, listen, be encouraged. As I always say, even if you got interrupted, you missed a day and you had to start over, don't stop. That is the most important thing. Do not stop. Don't quit. Don't give up. Make sure that you follow through for the entirety of your 90 days, even if you had to start over. Once we've finished, you keep going. But man, don't give up, because this is what's going to revolutionize your lived experience and allow you to begin to think and speak and move in abundance. This is 100% guaranteed, 100% guaranteed. So the meditations are there on the website. I was going to put up the web address. Let me put that up. There's the web address right there. If you want to, go over to the website and you can click on the empowerment button there, and it will take you to the page where all the videos are available to you, all of the morning meditations, as well as all of the recent teachings that we've been doing, and then the archival teachings that are there as well. You'll be able to access everything right there on the page, or you can go to our YouTube channel at Emerge LEC on YouTube, and you can access all of the teachings and meditations there as well. But please stay active, stay involved, be proactive and interactive as we are continuing this journey. Okay? All right, so let's get into it. Our conversation for today. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Good morning. Thank you for commenting and saying good morning. If there are others of you on here, and I know that there are, I can see the numbers on the screen. There's quite a few of you. So, if you want to say good morning in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. Say hi, hello, what's up, whatever you feel like saying. It's good to have you here. All right, let's get into this conversation for this morning. Y'all ready? Let me take a sip of coffee. Believe it or not, I have a lot of different cups, but this is my favorite one. It's one that I got at the Atlanta Zoo, and I've just never stopped using it. And I went there years ago, and I've never stopped using this cup. It's just one of my favorite cups, but I got a lot of other cups. I collect coffee cups. I actually do. I have tons of them. Most of them in the cabinet, but then I have others that are stored away in boxes that I haven't even unpacked yet from when I moved up here over a year ago. So I might use a different cup in our next broadcast. I don't know. Someone asked me about this, like, you always use that cup. It's my favorite cup. It really is. It's big. It's the equivalent to like 2 cups of coffee instead of 1 cup. So I can get a lot in here. And anybody who knows me knows I love my coffee. Nothing like coffee. Breakfast of champions. All right. So, all right. Let's get into it. Quick review, if you don't mind, from the very first one. No one is coming to save you. Y'all remember that, because you don't need saving. You don't need saving. We have all the time that we need. We simply need to learn to manage the time that we have. Set our priorities. Number 3 was that the only place your version of you exists is in your mind. No matter how you show up in this world, everyone is creating their own narrative about you. So you have to just make sure that you remain true to your own narrative and your own vision of your own life. Number 4, life is not fair. It's not unfair either. Life is only what you make it. As the omniactive, creative being, divine being that you are in every eternal moment of now, creating the next moment that you will experience. Taking no risk is the biggest risk. You cannot live in this life and experience the fullness of abundance if you are risk averse. Remember, we walk by faith and not by sight. So you've got to dream big, think big, envision big, and then be willing to step out into the unknown, the unfamiliar, and the uncomfortable in order to experience something greater. Quitting is always an option, and sometimes it's the best option. Holding on to situations and circumstances and people that no longer serve your highest good, no longer support the highest vision and version of yourself that you have, is absolutely dysfunctional and destructive. There comes a point when you need to know how to let go and to move on. Doesn't make the other thing or place or person bad. It simply means that it has reached its pinnacle, served its purpose, and now it's time for you to move on. Happiness is where you are now, or not at all. Quit expecting, looking for, and searching for happiness somewhere external from you. I'll be happy when I get the job, get the house, get the husband, get the wife. No, you have to learn that happiness is an internal thing, and you have to be happy in the eternal moment of now, in your right now. And when you arrive at those places, happiness will be there because you bring happiness with you. You need to make sure that you call yourself out, hold yourself accountable, check yourself, put your ego in submission and tell yourself the truth, even if you can't be honest with anyone else. Always hold yourself accountable, be an integral person, and tell yourself the truth. Closure is your choice. You don't look for closure from another person, place, or thing. It's not an external thing. There is a point where you have to learn how to close the door and to move forward and be okay without an explanation, without an apology, without a reconciliation, without anything. Just simply that I have decided that I am done with this. I am complete with this. I have gained everything that I can from it. And now I need to move on. This no longer serves me. It has become toxic. And before I internalize that toxicity, I will let it go and move on. Now, we kind of jumped out of order, so I'm going to skip ahead real quick. Because actually the next one is the one that we're going to start with today, but I'm going to skip ahead to the other one that we tied with this one. And that is, trust is not earned, it is given. That it's not a job and it's not a reward and it's not something people have to strive for. It is a decision and a choice that each of us have the right to make. We decide who to give our trust to and who not to provide them that trust. And likewise, everyone has the same prerogative. They get to choose whether to give you their trust or to withhold it, but you are not under any obligation to earn it, and no one is under any obligation to earn yours. All right. Now let's go back to the one that we'll begin with today. Okay. And that is, you ready for this? It's not your job to fix anyone. It is not your job. Listen to me, all of you who struggle with being an enabler and being codependent. It is not your job to fix anyone, especially those of you who are empathic, because if you are an empath, you have this tendency to have people drawn to you who are needy, who are in need of this kind of help, that kind of help they need. And if you're not careful, you will find yourself wearing a cape and trying to run to the rescue of every single person. And you fall into the position of not rescuing them, but then you start crippling them because you enable their bad behavior, you enable their toxicity, you enable their dysfunction, and you are become frustrated, aggravated, bitter, and resentful because you're trying to fix what you perceive as wrong with them. But ladies and gentlemen, listen to me carefully. It is not your job to fix anyone, not your husband, not your wife, not your boyfriend, not your girlfriend, not your partner, not your lover, not your sister, your brother, your cousin, your mama, your daddy, your auntie, or your uncle, not your son, not your daughter, not your stepson, stepdaughter, stepson, in-laws. It is not your job to fix them. It's not your job to fix your friends, your buddies, your acquaintances, your boss, the people you hang out with, your church, your pastor, your co-workers. It is not your job to fix anyone. You are only responsible for yourself. Yes, we can provide advice, insight, counsel, encouragement, inspiration to people, but you are not Mr. Fix-It. You are not Mrs. Fix-It. You are not responsible for fixing how they think, fixing their behavior, fixing their choices, fixing their messes, cleaning up behind them. It is not your job to fix anyone. You find yourself falling into a trap, and like I said, becoming aggravated, frustrated, and resentful and bitter. You begin to feel unappreciated, misunderstood, because you are endeavoring with all your might to try and fix somebody else's issues and problems. Yes, you can assist them, but you have to also be keenly aware and discern when your assistance is becoming a crutch, and when you are enabling their bad behavior, or you have become codependent of their bad behavior, because it engenders within you a sense of worth, a sense of value when they are needy to you. People can spot you from a mile away. They know that you get your validation from trying to fix them or fix other people's issues and problems. So they'll come and they will dump it all on you like a dump truck, leave it all on you like you're the garbage can, and watch you work yourself silly trying to make things better for them because you get some validation out of being Captain, America and Mighty Mouse running to the rescue, and they will let you keep running yourself ragged with no intention of ever trying to change or do better. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing what? So you've got to now begin to free yourself from the desire, from that yearning, from that drive, that inclination to always try and fix a situation, a circumstance, or a person. I'm trying to fix this and fix that. You see, all they really need is somebody to love them and somebody to understand them and somebody and they never had anybody anybody to do this, and they never had anybody to do that. And if I could be this for them, every person is solely responsible for their own lived experiences, their choices and decisions, their causes and effects, their choices and consequences. You can offer counsel and support, but you cannot fix them. They are responsible for renewing their own mind. They are responsible for reminding, reconfiguring, remembering, reconstructing their thoughts, words, and deeds. Everyone has the same equal ability and capacity to live the abundant life. You cannot force it on them. You cannot heave it upon them. You cannot cram it down their throat. You cannot live it for them. They have to be willing to do what is necessary to fix their own life. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You are not Iyanla Vanzant, and even she can't fix their life. All she can do is offer them a different perspective in the hopes that they will see what needs to be changed and will take the necessary action to fix themselves. Everybody has the tools and the capacity, but not everyone has the will to do the work that's necessary to fix their life and bring it into harmonious alignment with their divine self. Everyone has the capacity. They can't help themselves. They absolutely can. Please eradicate that thought and that statement and that mindset and that perspective from your psyche. They can't help themselves. Yes, they absolutely can. They are the only ones who can truly help them. You can offer assistance, but if there's going to be a structural, perpetual life change, they have to be the ones to do it. You can offer them the tools, but you cannot fix it for them. It's like every person is building their own house. They're creating their own world. They're planting their own Garden of Eden. And every person is the God of their garden. They are the contractor of their house. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And so you can offer them a blueprint. You can teach them about sowing and reaping and planting in their garden, but they have to do the horticulture. They have to be the person who is the supplanter. They have to be the one who's going to do the farming and put the seeds in the ground and grow their garden. They have to follow the blueprint. They have to hammer the nails. They have to put up the structure and shape out the frame upon which they're going to build. You cannot do it for them. And so stop feeling like you're a failure because your children don't follow the blueprint that you've already given them. Oh my goodness. Stop feeling like you have somehow failed as a parent, failed as a mother, or as a father, or as, a guardian, or as, a big brother or big sister, because those who you are trying to offer a blueprint to fail to follow the blueprint. Maybe they've come up with a different blueprint or a different direction or a different path that they've decided to take. No one is obligated to follow the path that you lay out for them. They get to make the choice for themselves, and they have to ultimately deal with the consequences, the responsibilities, the effect, the outcomes of their choices. And you can't come running to the rescue to try and pull them out of the fire or to try and cut the path for them like you're some kind of guide along the way that's cutting a new path and saying, come on, stay behind me and follow my steps. No, they have to cut their own on path. So stop beating yourself up and feeling like you failed and feeling like something's wrong with you because your children decided to take a different path than the one that you gave them the blueprint for. Stop feeling as though you failed as a wife or failed as a husband because your spouse decided to make a different choice. Lord, have mercy. Let me say that again. I said, stop feeling like you have failed as a husband, as a wife, as a spouse because your spouse decided to make a different choice that brought about consequences that they have to deal with. It's not your failure. It's not your fault. It wasn't caused by you. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And listen, here is the thing. No matter how maladaptive and no matter how toxic your behavior might be, you are responsible for fixing your own malady and your own toxicity, but that still does not excuse them from making the choice that they made. They are responsible for their choice, and you are responsible for your choice. They are responsible for their behavior, and you are responsible for your behavior. He cheated because you wouldn't do this, that, and the other. Well, maybe you should have been doing this, that, or the other. You are responsible for your failing in the area of doing what you should or have the capacity to do. But that does not excuse their choice. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Because again, they made the choice. They didn't have to do that. They could have simply chosen to remove themselves from the relationship and said, okay, this no longer serves me. But they made a different choice and whatever the parameters of that choice was, whatever went into making that choice, they made the choice, and they are responsible for their choice, and you are responsible for your choice. You have to fix yourself. Everybody has to fix themselves. Do you hear what I'm saying to you this morning? Everyone has to fix themselves. Okay. Theresa says they will drain you if you allow them to. Absolutely will. Suck up and use up all your energy. All of your energy. Okay. Toya asked, how do I fix this when I am a caregiver by exactly? That's such a good question. I'm so glad you asked that because there are a lot of you, like I said, you're empathic. You are a caregiver. You have that mothering nature about you, that feminine energy to want to nurture and to care for people. And feminine energy, it has nothing to do with sexuality. Men have feminine energy as well. So brothers, don't start thinking that, that makes you gay or anything else like that. We are both masculine and feminine. Every being has both masculine and feminine energy. Just thought I'd make sure I clear that up. But what do you do when you're operating from that feminine energy and it displays and manifests itself as being a caregiver, a nurturer, a supporter, or empathic? Well, you're supposed to be a nurturer and you're supposed to care for people. And this is not about not caring. It is not about not being empathetic. It is not about nurturing them. This is about not taking on the responsibility for their behavior and their choices, where you start blaming yourself because they are not following the blueprint or the information or the insight that you have given them, because they don't take advantage of the opportunities that you might create for them. You cannot blame yourself, and you have to discern when a person has decided or has concluded that their way is better and they choose not to listen to your counsel, advice, insight, or blueprint. Then you stop giving it. Be quiet, move on, because you're not responsible for their life. That doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad parent. It doesn't make you a bad friend. It doesn't make you a bad spouse. It makes you a clearly understanding, cognizant being who understands your role and responsibility to yourself, and that every person is responsible for fixing their own life. So you have to check that. What part of you, and then you have to ask yourself this question: am I doing what I do for them, or am I doing it really for me? Is it because it feeds my need to be needed? Let me pause right there. Is it because it feeds my need to be needed? Am I really doing it for them, or am I doing it for me? Do I seek some ultimate reward? Here's a hard one right here for parents, because many parents want to live vicariously through their children, whether consciously or unconsciously. And so you want them to succeed because you can say, I did that. Look at what I did, what we did. That's my son. That's my daughter. And so your claim to fame is tied up in their success, or your version of success. Woo! Lord have mercy. And so when they don't achieve or rise to the heights of your version of success, now you feel like you failed. Whew. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Okay. So you have to check your own neediness, your own codependency, Is this really your need to be needed? Or is it that you're really just offering assistance? That's a great question. Okay. Theresa said, I had to really tell myself that the same God in me is the same God in them. Exactly. They have the same 24 hours, the same capacity, the same ability, the same power to be able to create the life that best serves them as you do. They have the same opportunities. Okay? So it's not on you. It's not on you. Are y'all understanding what I'm saying? Can you feel me with both hands? All right, we ready to go to the next one? Boy, I could spend a whole hour just talking about this one, that whole feeling the need to fix people, because pastors deal with this a lot as well. Pastors, leaders, gurus, shaman, whatever leadership capacity you are in, when you're in a position as a compassionate leader, you want to, you feel this need to go run into everybody's rescue and be there to fix every problem. I struggled with this when I was pastoring, when I was in the Christian church and I was pastoring the church. I was trying to be Johnny on the scene for everybody. I missed a lot of good times and good sleep and time with my children, running to take care of somebody else's children and somebody else's issue and somebody else's problem, running to the hospital, running to the jail, are you hearing what I'm saying? Run into the rescue to fix this problem and talk to this one and this one and that one and that one, but leave my house sometimes at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, go into the jail, get this one out of jail, or to go to the hospital, or go to this, because this happened with that one and this one and that one. And I had to be Mr. Fix It for everybody. I felt obligated. I felt like that was my job. That's my job. And so I was ripping and running and in many cases lost sight of the highest, not the highest, but one of the highest responsibilities that I had, which was to my own children. And so my children had to share their dad with everybody else. Because I felt like I had to fix everybody. And if they failed, it was my fault. If they didn't succeed, it was my fault. If they ended up going to jail, it was my fault. If the relationship didn't work, it was my fault. If they fell back into a habit or an addiction or whatever, it was somehow my fault. I didn't do enough. I didn't say enough. I didn't pray hard enough. I didn't counsel them well. What could I have done differently? How could I have handled this better? I must have missed it somewhere. I had to have. I must have messed up somehow. Pastors and leaders go through this a lot. I can tell you from experience a lot. Diana says, yes, I had to learn to let go of my ideas of what I wanted. I was going on. I think you meant we were trying to make sure they did the things that would get them to my expectation. I was wearing myself out. Yes, indeed. But once they expressed their likes, I backed off. Exactly. You have to. You have to. I'm telling you, it's a tough situation. I had all of these different dreams and visions for my children. And I really think that I've been a really great dad. But this one, man, I struggled with, because when one of my children decided to make a different choice, man, it was hard for me. I took it personally. I was mad. I was pissed. I was just like, I felt like a failure. I felt like, oh my goodness, and even said, how could you do this to me for making a choice for their own life? I took it as, how could you do this to me? Oh my God, have mercy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I was so personally invested that it wasn't really about their happiness anymore. It was about them doing what I wanted them to do. But once and I thank God every day that they were strong enough to stand up to my overwhelming desire and push and drive for them to do one thing, and they chose what was best for them, what best served them, what gave them peace, what engendered happiness within them. And it took me a while to let go, to release, and to get comfortable, and to recognize my own wrong, hold myself accountable, call myself out on my own bullshit, and allow them to live their life and be happy and be proud and be supportive. Are you hearing what I'm saying? That's a tough one for parents. That's a tough one. Okay, Diana said, me too. We are related in that area. I know. I know. I'm telling you, man, that was a tough one. But I'm grateful for it every single day, because it helped me to grow. So that when my next child in line, was preparing to make choices and decisions for their life, I had a different perspective, and I was comfortable with allowing them to choose. And I even had the conversation with them and was like, listen, you don't have to do this and you don't have to do that. Whatever you choose to do, I'm going to love you and I'm going to support you. So whatever you choose, don't feel like you need to do this for me, because it's not about me. This is your life. Whatever you choose, that's growth. For me, that was real growth. Because every one of my children had to go to college and get a degree and be this, that, or the other. And so I wanted to make sure that this one understood, look, whatever you choose, if you choose to go to college or to go into a trade or to be a handyman or to be work on a garbage truck, whatever you choose to do is your choice. It has nothing to do with my love and support of you. Okay? Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Diana says, you have really helped me when it comes down to my children. Thank you for always being there. Well, your children are my children. I'm serious. I may not be the sperm donor, but I'm still daddy. Those my babies. I love every single one of them. Camille, Kamara, Nick, those my babies. I'm telling you right now, I love them. So it's been my honor, my pleasure. Okay? All right, let's move on. Man, we done spent 45 minutes already. Great day. I said we were going to get 4 or 5 in today. I don't think we're going to make it. Let's get to the next one real quick. Love is not a feeling. it's a choice. Lord have mercy. I said, love is not a feeling, it's a choice. Wrap your mind around this. I know this might make some of you very uncomfortable because you say, well, I feel this and I feel. Okay, love may produce a feeling, but love itself is not a feeling. Love is a spirit. It is an attribute of spirit. It is the essence of God and therefore the essence of you. And you get to choose to express that love or not. Love is not a feeling. It's not an emotion. It is a decision. It is, yes, okay, Bree just said that. She jumped on right at the same time that I was saying. She said, it's a decision. Yes, it's a decision. Okay? Why it says this the one right here. It is. It is. Because there is this ridiculous idea that we all adopted because we were told and domesticated into thinking so, that you somehow fall in love. You don't fall in love. You choose to love. You falling in love like you tripped over a log and accidentally fell before you knew it. Oops, I done fell in love. Like it's some cosmic accident that happened and you just found yourself shackled and chained by this thing. No, love is not an accident. It's not some cosmic action. It is a deliberate and intentional choice. Now, people may do things, say things, behave in a way that may make it easier and comfortable for you to make that choice, but it is a choice. It is a decision. How can you say that, Miles? Because that you can have two people who will do the exact same thing, behave in the exact same way. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And yet you will choose to love one and have no feeling for the other. You choose to be emotionally attached to them. You choose to have a different type of relationship with them. You choose the parameters of that relationship. Love is a decision. Are you hearing what I'm saying? It is a choice. It is a decision. It is you deciding to express the core part of your being, because God is love, therefore you is love. It is the essence, the substratum of who you are, and you are choosing to express it within the parameters that you consciously have decided that they would be. Now we get to an even deeper and more challenging truth here. This brings up a more challenging truth, because here it is. I know I'm going to upset a few people that are not that are uninitiated. Now, people like Diana and Toya and Whitland and other Dee call her Whitland. Did you hear me call her Whitland? Did you hear me call you Whitland? Dee and others like that have heard me say these things before, but there are several of you on here who are unfamiliar with me. So go ahead and buckle your seatbelt. Go ahead and buckle your seatbelt. There are no different types of love. Love is love is love. There are no different types of love. There are I know they say there is familial and eros and agape and this, that. There are no different types of love. God is love. God is not a type of love. God is not love in 4 parts. God is love in 4 parts or 5 parts. Ooh, boy. God is simply the epitome, the essence of love. God is love in its totality. Now, even those of you who ascribe to the Bible, every place in the Bible where the word love is used, it is used within the same context. It is used, and the same word is used. It is simply love. Love is the same. That's right. The same love that you have for your husband is the same love that you have for your friend, is the same love that you have for your children, is the same love that you have for people that you don't even know. Love is love. Now, I hear you already getting all uncomfortable and in an uproar out there, so let me go ahead and explain before y'all start cussing me on my live. Cause don't cuss me, because I cuss back. So love, I'm kidding. Actually, I'm not. But anyway, love is love. Love is love. Well, then, you gonna tell me that the same love I have for my husband is the same love that I'm supposed to have for some man that I'm not involved with? Absolutely. The love is not different. What's different is the relationship. The relationship sets the parameters and defines how that love will be expressed. It's the same love emanating from the same being, the same space, the same spirit. Okay? Love is a spirit, that same spirit, but it is expressed differently depending upon the relationship. The relationship is the structure. It sets the parameters for how love is expressed. I have a different relationship with a spouse than I have with my child. I have a different relationship with my child than I have with a friend. I have a different relationship with a friend than I have with an associate. I love all of them, but my relationship with each of them is different. The structure in which determines how love is expressed is different with each of them. Y'all okay now? You can breathe. Take a deep breath. But the love is the same. Love is a spirit. Spirit, another word for spirit is pneuma. That's the Greek, which is like breath or wind. Okay, so and I've given this example before. Here is how you can better understand it. So if I am in a house and you are on one side of the house in a bedroom and I am in the other side of the house in the kitchen, we are both breathing the same air. Air is simply air. However, if I start cooking in the kitchen, it changes the kitchen's relationship with the air. That air is filled with the flavor and fragrances and the scent that is coming from the cooking, while you are in the other room breathing a different air. The only way that the air in the kitchen can affect you where you are is if you leave the room and come over to the kitchen. Then you will now have a different relationship with the same air that you were just breathing in the room. And the only way that the air in the kitchen can affect the air in the room is if you open the door and allow the fragrance and the scent that's in the kitchen to now come and join with the air in the room. But you opened the door. Lord have mercy. You made the choice to mix the air. You made the choice to mix the relationship. You made the choice to reshape, redefine, reconfigure the structure through which love is expressed. Can you love two people? You have to. You got to love everybody, but you don't have the same relationship with everybody. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You don't have the same structure, and love is not expressed in the same way with every person, but you absolutely have the capacity to love more than one person at a time. You love everyone. How can you not love everyone when everyone is a different version of you? Because we are all divine individuations of the same soul and spirit. Oh my goodness. We are all interconnected. We are all one. And so when I see you, I'm looking at me. And when you see me, you're looking at you, but a different version of you, a different expression and experience of you, but it is still you. So of course I cannot not love you, because to not love you is to not love me. This is why the principle that Jesus is purported to have laid down is so poignant. Love your neighbor, that is the external version of you, as you love yourself, because to not love them is to not love you. John picks it up and says that if I say that I love God, who I have not seen, and yet I hate my brother or sister, who I see always, then I'm a liar and the truth is not in me. Why? Because my brother or sister are just as I am, a divine expression of God, a vehicle through which God experiences and expresses itself, and they are a different individuation or version of soul. And so when I am hating them, I am hating me, and I am disconnecting myself from my own divine nature. The love is universal. The love is absolute. The love is the same, but the relationship is different. Y'all doing all right out there? I ain't make nobody upset with me. Okay? All right. Let me go to the comments. I'm so glad you said that. I've always said love is it just is. It is. It absolutely is. Toya said, you stepping on my feet here, ego. This is hard to digest, but it's hard for a lot of people to digest, but it is the same. The only thing that changes is the relationship. And so you will hear, like, especially when there is a marital or romantic connection, you have that structure through which love is expressed, and then one of the partners chooses to express and experience that love with another person outside of that structure. Then the one remaining says, well, you don't love me anymore. That's not true. That is, if you loved me, you wouldn't have did that. That's not true. Oh, Lord, I know I'm making some folk mad this morning. That is absolutely not true. What all they have chosen to do is to now express and experience that love with another person in the same way that they have chosen to express and experience it with you. It does not eradicate the fact that they love you. It says that they made a different choice about how to express that love. Likewise, flip side, if the person within that relationship, that partnership decides that they're not going to express and experience the love in the same way that they have done before, it does not mean that they don't love you anymore. It means that they have made a choice to change the parameter, to change the structure, so that they change how they experience and express that love for you. And the only thing left for you to do at that point is to decide, does their choice align with mine? Does it serve me? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Does it serve me? Am I willing to walk in harmony with that? Or is it so disruptive, and has it come to the place where it no longer serves me? So I'm going to make a different choice, and I'm going to choose to experience and express my love differently with them than I have before. But you don't fall out of love because you never fell into it. Yeah, goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me go down. Bridget has some words to say on this one. She says, I just don't see how you can intensely stop loving someone when you decide you don't want to deal with them anymore. I suppose you could change the relationship, but the love is still exactly what I'm saying. This is why even in your Bible, in the Bible scripture, it says, love hopeth, love believeth, and love endures all things. Love never fails. It hopes, believes, and endures everything. Love never fails. It never ceases. It never ends. You never stop loving. You change how you experience and express that love. Love is eternal because love is who we are. It is the very essence of our being. And so you're not falling out of love. You never fell into love. It's not some cosmic accident. You got to accidentally fall into it and accidentally fall out. What kind of craziness is that? You keep falling. Get up, man. Oh my goodness, that's so funny to me. Okay, no. But you are making an active choice, and then you are creating the structure through which you will decide how to experience and express that love with every individual that you encounter. Remember, one of the 4 agreements was, don't take anything personally. How could you do this to me? They are not doing it to you. They are making a choice for themselves, which gives you the opportunity to make a choice for yourself. No, you are nobody's victim. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not a victim of fate. You are not a victim of happenstance. You, in every eternal moment of now, have the capacity and the authority to choose what you want to experience and what you choose not to experience. You are the God of your garden. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. As far as saying it, it's simple. The implications and the application can be a challenge, but this is an uncomfortable truth. Love is not a feeling. It is a decision. It is a choice. And you get to choose to express and experience it however you desire in every situation, circumstance, or relationship. Toya, oh goodness, Toya, you always creating a mess and a stir. Lord have mercy. Is this where polygamy coming from, or is that just something altogether different? No, it's the same. And I know this makes people really uncomfortable because we have been so Europeanized and Americanized that we think that monogamy is God's plan. But that's not in the scripture. That's not that. And even if it was, I mean, we already know that the Bible is not 100% accurate, but still, it's not even in the Bible. It's not in the Quran. It's not in the Bhagavad Gita. It's not in any of these sacred texts. That is not the plan of God. That is a European Americanized version of what they have defined as being a relationship. And it's nothing wrong with it either. Please understand what I'm saying. I am not saying that it's wrong. I am not saying that it's the wrong choice, the wrong decision. It is a choice, but it is no different than those who choose to live in polygamy or practice polygamy or polyamory. It is no different. It is absolutely not. One is not more acceptable than the other. Every choice that these spiritual beings make is acceptable as long as they all agree and have decided this is what best serves me. It's not the government's choice. It's not a religion's choice. It's not a culture's choice. It's not a society's choice. It's not an environmental choice. It is an individual choice. So no, it's not wrong. It's not sinful. I don't see how Christians can be so anti this, and they anti just about everything these days. You're like, you breathe, that's a sin. You going to hell. But when it was practiced all throughout their scriptures, they proudly boast about Abraham being the father of nations. Well, you know where all those nations come from? It come from him screwing all these different women. Y'all ain't saying nothing, and having multiple children from multiple mamas. He had 3 baby mamas and he had multiple children. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? They gonna get mad at me about talking about Abraham had baby mamas. Lord have mercy. He did. Your hero that most Christian women, have elevated and deified, Mr. Solomon, because you call yourself a Proverbs 31 woman. You do realize that in today's culture, Solomon would be called a hoe. The man had 700 wives, 500 girlfriends. So when he was saying who can find a virtuous woman, it wasn't from lack of trying. The brother had been through 1,200 women, and he was still asking, who can find a virtuous one? Great day. I've tried all these women, and I still ain't found one. So you taking advice from a hoe. I'm going to make all the church folk mad at me now. You taking advice from a hoe. Come on. You wouldn't listen to your preacher, your pastor, if you found out he had 1,200 women. You'd be trying to find a way to either get rid of him or get out of that church. Come on. Look at how y'all talk about John Gray. But you'll take the advice from Solomon, who was just fucking everybody. I'm so tickled. Oh my goodness. You talking about having some stamina, this brother. That brother was a beast. Great day. Oh my goodness. Okay. I know Bree said you about to have 2 viewers. Keep on. Folk gonna tune me out altogether. Like, no, we ain't having this. You will not talk about Solomon, wisest man in the world. That's God's man. But it's the truth. It's the truth. And God had no issue with it. Did you think about that? In your biblical narrative, did you ever see a place where God rebuked him for having so many wives and so many girlfriends? What about David? And every one of the kings, except for the ones that were homosexual. Oh, you do know there were some homosexual kings, but that's a whole nother conversation. We won't get into that one. Cause if you ain't, you'll really be pissed off then if I start talking to you about some of the homosexual kings and the ones that were bisexual. But never mind. Anyway, let me get back to my point. How I get way over there? Let me come back. Love. I'm laughing because I can feel some of the Christian folk boiling right now. And like, see, this is why we don't fool with this Negro no more. See, did you hear what he just said? And then Miles done lost his mind. He used to it. Well, I ain't think he was saved in the first place, but I know the nigga ain't saved now. Oh my goodness. Ooh, I'm getting hot. Oh, okay. I know, Diana. I know. I'm gonna be bad mouth. Bad. Stop it. Oh, Lord have mercy. Love is absolutely love. I remember a few years ago, a dear friend of mine, young lady that I watched grow up. Her mother was a part of my church when I was pastoring in Florida. And I'd watched her grow up from a child, and she decided she was getting married. She's a lesbian, and she was getting married, and she was going to get married to her girlfriend, her spouse. And they asked me to perform the wedding, and I went down. And of course, I would do it. I loved them. I loved her. Hadn't met her spouse yet, but I loved her. And I was like, of course. Went down and I performed the wedding. Lord, have mercy. When I tell you, church folks, they invented a whole new hell to put me in. God, I'm talking about people I had known for years who I thought were my friends, my covenant brothers. They cut me off so fast. They were like Peter around that campfire. Aren't you with him? I don't know that nigga. That's not my friend. No. Oh my gosh. They cut me off so fast. It was crazy. All because I supported love and two people's choice to express and experience that love with each other within the confines of a relationship. Love, ladies and gentlemen, is not a feeling, it's a choice. It is universal. It is the essence and the substratum of our being. Okay, I'm not even going to try to go to the next one. It's already been an hour and I'm 15 minutes over time already. So, I don't want to rush through any of them. And I wasted a lot of time laughing because it was just so funny. It's just so funny to me. But please understand this. Love everybody. You choose and decide how you want to experience and express that love. You know, whether it's in the confines of a friendship, of a marriage, or a association, or a co-worker, whether it is sexual, platonically, as, mother, father, but love is absolutely love. And each of us have the opportunity, the capacity, the authority, and the right to choose how we will experience and express that love. Excuse me. Okay? But everybody has that choice. Everyone has that choice. But don't think that it's a different kind of love. It is not a different kind of love. And don't think that it's not love simply because they make a different choice. Okay? That doesn't mean that it's not love. It doesn't mean that they don't love you or that you don't love them. It just means that you have chosen to change the parameters of the relationship. You've changed the structure of the relationship. That's all. That's all. That's all. Yes, you can love a person who treats you badly, but that is your choice. And you can choose to continue to remain in a structure where you experience that kind of bad treatment that makes you feel less than, devalued, misunderstood, or you can choose to remove yourself from it without ever disturbing the fact that you love them and they love you. The relationship has to change, but the love does not. It absolutely does not. Said, how about we just name this series? Well, I did. We named it Uncomfortable Truths. This is definitely a series. This is definitely a series, Diana. Okay. Let me see if I missed any others. Oh, this is a good one. Toya said, explain something for me. From my experience, if a woman does it, it's frowned upon, but if men do it, it seems to be different. That's because of society. It ain't got nothing to do with God. It got nothing to do with spirituality. It has nothing to do with truth. It has to do with our society, our human society and culture of the world that is readily adopted. But I also see that shifting and changing in this age now where women are becoming a lot more consciously aware and comfortable making their own decisions within the realms of their own liberty and freedom, expressing that liberty and freedom to experience and express their love in different frameworks. It's becoming less and less controversial as time goes by. It was the norm back in our time as we were growing up. Well, let me quit making you as old as I am, because you're not that old. but it was, even when you were a child, but especially when I was a child, it was absolutely frowned upon. It was, men could choose to experience and express love in any way that they wanted to, but women couldn't. And if they did, then they were given all kind of names like hoes and Jezebels and Lucy Loose and all of these other kind of things, slut and this, that, and the other. Okay, but that is quickly beginning to fade and to disappear. And in the eyes of some, especially the evangelical Christian world, they call it a decline in morality. It is not a decline in morality. It is an awakening of consciousness and people beginning to understand their liberty and freedom to express and experience life how they choose. No one is the morality police. No one gets to determine what is moral and what is immoral for any other person. Every person has to make the choice for how they want to live and express and experience life. So, but for years, there has been a double standard. It was definitely a double standard. And women were considered, even in your Bible, and those people who believe in the Bible and embrace it, you do understand that in the Bible, women are considered property. You're not just an equal human being. You're property. You're the property of a man. You're either the property of your father, and if he decides to sell you to someone, that's what it was, selling, because in order for the man to marry you, he had to pay the father an endowment, a dowry. Are you hearing what I'm saying? It wasn't paid to the mother. Mother didn't get anything out of it. Women didn't even inherit. Nothing. All inheritance were passed to the sons. Women were property, like cattle and sheep and goats. You do realize that, right? They were property. They had no rights, no say-so, no authority, no nothing. They were property. You were first the property of your daddy, then he sold you to whoever wanted to marry you, became the property of your husband.
and you were considered the property of those men. And even when you gave birth to a male son, once that son reaches an age of majority, you were to serve the son. He had authority over you. So remember that when you start wanting to cling to these Bible stories and scriptures about, about men and women, then if you're willing to go ahead and give up all your rights as a human, as a being, as a person, and just be subservient, have at it, Jack. If that serves you, that makes you happy, choose. That's your choice. But don't get mad at the women who realize and recognize and have awakened that no, I'm nobody's servant. I'm not subservient to anyone. I am an equally endowed divine being. So that's a really good statement. That's a good question. That's a good question. Wow. All right. Okay, I think that's all of the questions. So, man, I'm way over time. Hour and 21 minutes. Okay, we 21 minutes over time, and boy, look at how the numbers have gone down. Well, Bree, you called it. I went from 15 down to 8. It's good. Like, I know you will not be talking about my Abraham and Solomon. You're not going to be, no. They were human beings, or spirit beings, spirits being human. So was Jesus. Ooh, if I told you about Jesus, you really get mad. Oh, goodness. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead, because, boy, look at here. I do want at least one person to show up when I come on the live, so I'm going to leave that one alone. I'm going to leave it alone. All right. Okay. What was I getting ready to say? I'm trying to think. Please make sure that you are involved in the 90 days of abundance and that you are being intentional. Be intentional every single day to look for opportunities to give of your time, your talent, your money, your abilities, your love, your happiness, your joy, to share with others, to improve the life of other people, to be kind. Please, kindness, man, is like, it's almost a lost commodity today. People are not kind anymore. You change the narrative. Help me in changing the narrative and the culture in the world by choosing intentionally to be kind to people, to not be defensive, not be insecure, not to be driven by ego, but to simply be kind, to express and experience love, your truest and highest essence. Be kind. Be kind. It doesn't cost you anything to be kind. Be kind to people. Be nice to them. Doesn't matter whether they're nice to you. This is not a reciprocal thing. This is me intentionally, deliberately choosing to be kind and not expecting kindness from you. I expect kindness from the universe to be drawn and attract those who will bring that same kindness back to me, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. If that's you, wonderful, but if it's not, that's okay too. My motivation for being kind comes from within, not from without. So be kind, be generous, be charitable. If you'd like to express your generosity, your charity by giving and supporting this particular platform, you can do so by using the means that you see on the screen right now. You can use our Cashapp or our Zelle. Either one of them is convenient. and you can express and give your generosity. You can employ the esoteric science of giving that causes abundance to be accelerated and manifested in your life by giving and sharing. I appreciate each and every one of you that support this platform with your gifts of love. Some of you do it regularly. I absolutely appreciate you. I want you to know it does not go unnoticed. I really appreciate all that you do. Thank you to each and every one of you that choose to do so. All right. I've got an announcement coming up really soon. I want to say it now, but I can't. So I got to make sure I've got all my ducks in a row before I make the announcement. But I got an announcement that I want to make to you. So stay tuned for that. Something good is coming. Something really good is coming. All right. Those of you involved with the 90 Days of Abundance, and all of us should be, we'll see you in the morning at 6:30 for our morning meditation. And then for the rest of you, we will see you on Thursday for our next empowerment session at 7:30 p.m. Do take a moment and follow us on Instagram as well as on TikTok and here on Facebook. If you haven't liked the Emerge Facebook page, please go over and like the page and be a participant there. Eventually, I'm working to that place to build the brand of Emerge. So I'll stop doing the lives on my personal Facebook page, and they will only be seen on the Emerge page. So get used to going over there, go like the page, go ahead and get connected with that page so that you don't miss a single conversation that we're having. I'm going to eventually make that shift probably within the next few months. So you want to go ahead and like the page and get on there right now. All right. I think that is everything. You guys have an absolutely fantastic, stupendous day. Quincy Gooseby, good to see you, young man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay. Having a stupendous day, and be intentional and deliberate about spreading kindness everywhere you go.